You know, every once in a while, I'll come across some new information that completely blows my mind. It goes against everything I thought was true. And for today's video, I'm going to show you an example of what I mean. About a week ago, I came across this post that includes an image that shows the most used Save the World Starter Pack skins. It was posted by Fortnite Save the World News, who's a really good source of information when it comes to anything Save the World related. I'll be sure to leave a link to this post as well as their Twitter in the description if you want to go check them out and drop them a follow. But yeah, when I took a closer look at this picture, I could not believe what I was seeing. You'll notice, like, when it comes to the top 4, none of those skins are related to Save the World, yet they're the most used skins out of all of the starter packs. And that tells me a couple of things. For one, I live in a bubble. I obviously underestimated how many people like those skins compared to the ones that have Save the World characters. My opinion on these skins must be biased because I value the Save the World skins more than the random ones. But yeah, seeing this picture definitely humbled me and made me realize that not everybody looks at the Save the World starter packs the same way I do. A couple of other explanations I guess I should mention is that Sid Obsidian has been released twice, so people were able to get him a lot easier compared to all of the other starter packs. And I guess another thing that could have skewed these results is that a lot of people who already own Save the World don't necessarily need to buy the new Save the World starter packs unless they really like the skin. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a closer look at this list. And big shout out to Archer for providing us with this custom list that shows us the most used Save the World starter pack skins. He got it from a website called Fortnite GG. If you tried to filter it on your own, they don't really have an option that says Save the World starter packs, but he was able to make one himself. So that's what we're going to be looking at. But in number 1, we have Sid Obsidian. And again, from my Save the World player perspective, I didn't really consider this to be one of the best Save the World starter packs. I noticed in my video where we reviewed the starter pack, a lot of people said they liked the skin. But the main reason I think this one is number 1 is because if we take a look at the stats, you'll notice that it starts off really high when it's released. It dropped dramatically shortly after, and then it went back up again. And that's because this skin is the only Save the World starter pack skin that was released twice. So I think that's one of the main reasons a lot of people wear this starter pack skin. It's because it's been released twice when all of the other skins were only released once. And if we look at the numbers, I think the percentages is showing you the chances of you seeing somebody wearing this skin compared to all of the other skins. And the number on the right, 237,000, I believe that's the amount of people who equip this skin at least once. So there's at least 237,000 people who have worn this skin. Next up we have Dara, and this is another skin I didn't think would be as popular as it is, but according to this list, it's the second most popular Save the World starter pack skin. And it looks like there's a total of almost 65,000 people who have equipped this skin at some point. At number 3 we have Tony, and again, this is another skin I didn't think would be as popular as it is, at least compared to other Save the World starter packs. But according to this list, he's number 3, and there's been at least 19,200 people who have equipped this skin at some point. Same thing with number 4, which is the Carry skin. This is another one I didn't think would be as popular as it is, but according to this list, at least 19,100 people have equipped this skin. Now at number 5, we actually have a Save the World character, and according to this list, apparently Clip is the most used Save the World starter pack skin that actually includes a Save the World character. At least 18,300 people have equipped this skin at some point. So when it comes to starter packs that include Save the World characters, Clip is the most popular one. I know she is a popular character in the Save the World community, but I'm still kind of surprised that she was the number 1 starter pack that includes a Save the World skin. Now, I was not surprised about the one that came in 6th place, which was Robo Ray. I definitely expected her to be one of the more popular starter packs that included Save the World skins because she's like one of the main characters in Save the World. It says here that there's been at least 18,200 people who have equipped this skin. I kind of thought she would be a little bit higher in this list, but again, I'm saying that from a biased Save the World player's perspective. But I am glad that she's near the top. At number 7, we have Robo Kevin, and this is another starter pack that includes a Save the World character. It says here that at least 14,800 people have equipped this skin at some point. At number 8, we have Nia. She's not a Save the World character, she's just a random skin. And this is another skin I was surprised to see a lot of people using. It says here that there's been at least 14,700 people who have equipped this skin. So she is pretty popular as far as Save the World starter packs go. At number 9, we have Sarah, and she's a Save the World character for those who don't know. She's actually the current Save the World starter pack that's available. So when it comes to Save the World starter packs that include Save the World characters, she's pretty popular. She's the 4th Save the World character that we've gotten up to this point. And there's been at least 12,600 people who have equipped this skin. At number 10, we have Pauline, which was the last Save the World starter pack that we got before this current one. And she's not a Save the World character either, but there's been at least 12,000 people who have equipped this skin. At number 11, we have Metal Team Leader, who was the first Save the World starter pack. She actually came with perks as well as a reskinned weapon and a reskinned teddy. So since she is a hero in Save the World, I would consider her to be a Save the World character, but she doesn't appear in any of the quest lines or anything. But according to this list, there's been at least 8,600 people who equipped that skin. At number 12, we have Rotten Penny. This is one of my favorite starter packs. She was a starter pack that I would recommend getting. According to this list, there's been 7,100 people who equipped that skin. At number 13, we have Dr. Venderbot, and he is another main character in the Save the World storyline. There were 6,800 people who equipped that skin. Kind of wishing he was closer to the top. At number 14, we have the Samurai Scrapper starter pack, and he's not a Save the World character, but there were 5,600 people who equipped that skin at some point. At number 15, we have another popular Save the World character.
I know it's a lot to ask.
The starter pack was called Endless Ned, and it includes the Ned skin. And honestly, I kind of figured he would be a little bit higher, but there's only been 4,300 people who equipped that skin at some point. At number 16, we have Mecha Pop, and this is another Save the World character. 4,000 people wore that skin. At number 17, we have Lars, who's another popular Save the World character, and only 4,000 people wore his skin. I do kind of wish Lars was a little bit higher on this list, as well as Ned. Same thing with Lockbot. He's another Save the World character, and I kind of wish he was a little bit higher in this list. Only 3,800 people have equipped that skin up to this point. At number 19, we have Powerhouse, and he's not a Save the World character, but he did come with abilities, as well as a reskinned weapon. So I guess in that sense, he is sort of a Save the World character, but he doesn't really play a part in the Save the World storyline. It says here only 3,700 people have equipped that skin. At number 20, we have Machinist Mina, and she's not a Save the World character either. She's just built like one. She also has hero perks, and I believe she came with a reskinned trap. It's called the Zapamax, and it works exactly the same as Wall Dynamos. But only 2,400 people have worn that skin at some point. At number 21, we have Colby, and this one is not a Save the World character. So she's sort of where I expect her to be, somewhere near the bottom. Only 1,900 people have equipped this skin at some point. And in last place, we have Scrapper Kyle. And this is another one of the main Save the World characters. Definitely surprised to see him in last place. But yeah, according to this list, only 1,600 people have equipped the Scrapper Kyle skin, which makes it the least used Save the World starter pack skin out of all of the Save the World starter packs. I definitely wish he was a little bit higher, but I also wished he looked more like the original Kyle that's in Save the World. I think that could also play a part into why not that many people bought this skin and used this skin, even though he's a popular Save the World character. But yeah, that's the entire list of the most used Save the World starter pack skins in Fortnite. I was really surprised to see the top 4 skins in this list. I definitely did not expect them to be as popular as they are. And I'm also sort of sad to see some of the main Save the World characters near the bottom of this list, like Scrapper Kyle, Lars, Ned, Dr. Venderbot, Pop, Lockbot. I sort of expected those skins to be a lot higher than they are. I'm glad Penny's not near the bottom, but I feel like she should also be a little bit higher. But I was glad to see Sarah, Kevin, Ray, and Clip as high as they are. Anyway, speaking of starter packs, I did rank each Save the World starter pack and put them in a tier list. I'll leave a link to that video in the description if you want to go check them out. But it looks a lot different than this list we see right here. And that's because I valued the Save the World skins a lot more than I do these random skins. But I'll leave a link to that video in the description if you want to go check them out. Again, big shout out to Fortnite Save the World News for tweeting this out and showing us which of these skins are the most popular. And again, shout out to Archer for providing us with the custom list so we could take a closer look at it. Well, that sums up everything we're going to go over for this one. Let me know what you think about the most used Save the World Starter Pack skins in the comments below. If you like to support the channel, be sure to use creator code A1. Also, big shout out to everybody who's been using it. I really appreciate your support. And I also want to give a shout out to our YouTube members. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.
Been a go, but it's some stuff I won't let her do. If I get the shooting this RPG, I need props like a stepper. Let's do it. They tried to get me with spike traps, they know I'm like that, smooth like a criminal. If they try to bite, I'ma bite back, man. I just swipe that, I need residuals.